one of my projects has been the charge controllers. I finally got my voltmeters in, and this one here, of course, does not work. I have to send it back. I'm also having problems with this charge controller. I've had a terrible time with electronics lately. But the idea is the voltage comes in from the boat motor and back out, and I can make sure that the charge controller is working. Right now, the values are the same just because the motor's not running. This one's running 13.5 volts out, and if this were working, this meter here, it would be reading around 20. And these are just cheap voltmeters. They are good up to 30 volts. And I'm going to order another one, but they come from China. It's going to take like a month to get it. And the charge controller, I don't know if they'll return it or not. I'll probably just have to get another one. The wiring's kind of a mess. I usually do a lot better job on wiring. I'm kind of ashamed of this, but that's what it is. So.
Well, I've been working on some nitpicky stuff today. I closed in between the top of the wall and the roof in the front and in the back. Out front, I had a few problems. The horn is mounted over here, so I had to carve around it, and then it had to be stuffed in under this door. And this door, if you will remember, barely fit the frame of the boat. It was kind of a miracle that it did. So it was a struggle getting that piece under the door, and I must have trimmed for an hour trying to get it around that stupid horn. The back panels, they were pretty simple. I used the same pattern for the front that I did for the back, and the only problem I had back there was that wire for the solar panels coming through the roof, but I just slipped it over top of the panel that I cut and put in. These are screwed all across the bottom into those posts in the center, but there's not really anything holding them against the top, so I'm probably going to get like some foam weather stripping and run it inside and outside to finish those off and hold them in place. The idea is that these will not only keep out bugs when we're on the lake, but they'll keep out waspers and stuff when the boat's being stored. Also, we didn't have any kind of a window on our door. It's just a screen door, you know, any way to close it up from the rain or cold or whatever. So I worked on that today, and I'll show you those. I made the window for the door out of the same thing the rest of the windows are made out of. It's just the vinyl, and because this door is very thin aluminum, I could not run a screw into it, so I used pop rivets. And I couldn't put my snaps right on the edge because there's stuff on the edges, especially down on the bottom panel. But I think it'll work out just fine, even though the edges are a little bit past, and the screen will keep the wind from, you know, really blowing it through. It'll definitely keep the rain out, and it's not completely wind proof, but that's okay. And I do need to add in maybe one more snap in the top and in the bottom of both panels. I put one on the top of the door and one on the bottom of the door. But, you know, 4 more snaps and the door will be finished and completely closed in. These windows, if you decide to use this really thick vinyl to make windows out of for a boat, or maybe even some kind of an RV or something, a lightweight RV, you can't cut this stuff really with scissors. And I figured that out pretty quick. You have to lay it on a board or something and cut it with a razor knife and a straight edge. It definitely isn't a scissor project. I also have some LED lights that I put up, and these are just sticking on with Velcro. I thought about hanging the lights, just use the magnets and hang them from the conduit spars that we put in the roof, but we were afraid if we got hit by waves or something from another boat that they would fall off and hit us in the head when we weren't expecting it. So I used the Velcro to stick them up. And I got these. They were a really good deal. I mean, these things go up to like 15 bucks a piece, but I found them on clearance for 50 cents a piece. So, you know, if you keep your eyes open when you're working on a project like this, you can pick up some real bargains. They're kind of directional, and I managed to get 4 of them, so I put them on both sides directly across from each other. One of them points toward the table, and one of them points toward the console, and then on the other side they're both directly over the bed, but they point opposite directions, so you know, we could turn one on and not have it in our eyes at night if we wanted to. And those are just operated off of 3 AA batteries. So if we use them at night after the sun's gone down and stuff, it's not going to drain our battery. And we'll be able to start the boat in the morning. Thanks for joining us for this update on the Sputterbutt. Please click like and subscribe.